Imagine a country that rarely makes headlines for glitzy wealth, celebrity scandals, or flashy skyscrapers. A place where humility is valued more than showing off, where silence is considered wisdom, and where happiness is measured not by how much you own, but how deeply you live. That country is Finland. It may surprise you, but billionaires, celebrities, and world leaders quietly slip away to this Nordic land, not for red carpets or paparazzi, but for something far more valuable, a lifestyle that money cannot easily buy. In this video, we uncover the secret Finnish lifestyle that has quietly drawn the interest of some of the world's wealthiest people, and why, even if you're not a billionaire, its lessons could change the way you live. Why billionaires are drawn to Finland. When you think about billionaires, you probably imagine places like Monaco, Dubai, or New York, cities with yachts, private jets, and flashing cameras. Finland doesn't fit that picture. There are no paparazzi waiting outside restaurants, no luxury districts filled with designer shops on every corner. And that's exactly why the ultra-wealthy find it so attractive. In Finland, wealth doesn't define you. Even the richest Finns live modestly. Former Nokia executives, who once controlled one of the world's largest companies, are known to shop at normal grocery stores, cycle to work, and live in homes that wouldn't look unusual in a middle-class neighborhood. For billionaires visiting from abroad, this is refreshing. They can blend in, live quietly, and not be judged for what they own. But it's not just modesty that pulls them in. Finland offers three things money can't easily buy anywhere else: silence and nature. With more than 180,000 lakes and endless forests, Finland gives something rare in today's world: space and calm. Wealthy visitors often buy summer cottages, not for luxury, but for peace, safety, and trust. Finland is one of the least corrupt countries on earth. You can forget your wallet in a cafe and come back hours later to find it untouched. For billionaires who usually live behind layers of security, this is almost unbelievable. Equality. In Finland, the culture is built on treating everyone the same. Neighbors don't envy you for your wealth. Waiters, teachers, and CEOs share the same saunas. This breaks down the walls of class division that the rich often struggle with elsewhere. For the world's billionaires, Finland isn't a playground of luxury. It's a rare place where they can live like normal human beings, and that is worth more than gold. The Finnish concept of sisu. If there's one word that captures the Finnish way of life, it's sisu. Outsiders often translate it as grit or courage, but that doesn't fully explain it. Sisu is deeper. It's about quiet strength, the kind that shows itself when life gets hard, when there's no applause, and when giving up would be easier. Think about Finland's history. The country has endured brutal winters, scarce resources, and even invasions by larger powers like Russia and Sweden. Yet Finns survived, often against impossible odds, not through flashy victories, but through endurance, persistence, and resilience. That's sisu. In daily life, sisu is everywhere. It's the mother walking her child to school through heavy snow instead of complaining about the weather. It's the worker who doesn't quit when the job gets tough. It's the skier pushing through freezing winds for the sake of discipline, not glory. Now, why does this attract billionaires? Because many of them come from worlds where success is measured by constant noise, press releases, interviews, and showing off achievements. In Finland, they discover a philosophy that says, real strength is not about what others see, but about what you quietly endure. Even in business, this mindset shapes the culture. Finnish companies are known for stability and long-term vision rather than chasing quick wins. Billionaires often respect this because they see how it creates sustainable success, something money alone cannot guarantee. Sisu is not about power in the moment, it's about lasting power over time. And for billionaires used to burnout, competition, and stress, Finland's lesson is clear. Sometimes the strongest way to live is to endure with dignity, not to rush for recognition. Sauna, the billionaire's escape. If there's one Finnish tradition that captures the soul of the nation, it's the sauna. To outsiders, a sauna might seem like just a hot room, but in Finland, it's far more than that. It's a way of life, a place of equality, and even a spiritual reset. There are over 3 million saunas in Finland. That's more than one sauna for every two people. From small apartments in Helsinki to lakeside cottages in Lapland, the sauna is where families gather, friends reconnect, and even politicians hold quiet discussions. For billionaires, the appeal is immediate. Step into a Finnish sauna, and all titles vanish. You're not a CEO, a celebrity, or a billionaire. You're simply human. The heat strips away pretense, forcing you to slow down, breathe deeply, and let stress melt out of your body. It's also practical. Studies show that regular sauna use improves circulation, reduces stress hormones, and even lowers the risk of heart disease. No wonder tech leaders and celebrities have started building Finnish-style saunas in their private homes after experiencing them here. But beyond health benefits, saunas carry something money can't buy: connection without distraction. No phones, no cameras, no interruptions. Just conversation, silence, and steam. Some of Finland's most important business deals and political decisions were silence as a luxury. In most parts of the world, silence feels rare, almost unnatural. Cities hum with traffic, planes roar overhead, and even small towns are filled with constant chatter. For billionaires, life is even louder. Surrounded by assistants, reporters, investors, and fans, their days are a storm of voices and demands. But in Finland, silence is part of the culture, and for the wealthy who visit, it feels like discovering a lost treasure. Step into a Finnish forest and you'll understand. The only sounds are the crunch of snow under your boots or the rustle of wind through pine trees. Sit by a lake at sunset and you'll hear nothing but the gentle ripple of water. For Finns, this is normal. For billionaires used to constant noise, it's life-changing. Silence in Finland isn't awkward. It's valued. In conversations, people pause and think before speaking. Long silences aren't considered rude but respectful. This is very different from fast-paced societies where silence must be filled with small talk. Why does this matter to billionaires? Because silence gives them something their wealth often can't: clarity of mind. Away from the noise, they can reflect, reset, and make decisions without pressure. It's no coincidence that some of the world's biggest business leaders come to Finland not for luxury hotels, but for quiet cabins deep in the woods. There's an old Finnish saying, "Silence is gold, talking is silver." In a world that constantly rewards louder voices, Finland teaches that sometimes the richest thing you can possess is peace. For billionaires, silence here is not emptiness, it's healing. And in a strange way, it's a luxury more valuable than anything money can buy. Happiness without showing off. Every year, Finland ranks at the very top of the World Happiness Report. For 6 years straight, it's been named the happiest country on Earth. At first glance, this doesn't make sense. Finland doesn't have tropical beaches, constant sunshine, or a booming population. So what makes people here so content? The answer is simple but powerful. Happiness in Finland isn't about showing off, it's about living well. In many countries, wealth is measured by flashy cars, designer clothes, or giant houses. In Finland, that kind of display is frowned upon. People value modesty and equality. Even millionaires and politicians are expected to live like everyone else, shopping in the same stores, sending their kids to the same schools, and enjoying the same public services. Billionaires notice this immediately. Instead of standing out, they blend in. They see that true happiness here comes from low stress, trust in society, and balance in life. People don't spend their lives chasing status. They spend it enjoying simple pleasures, like fishing on a quiet lake, reading by a fireplace, or sharing coffee with a friend. What shocks many wealthy visitors is that Finns don't define success by how much money you make, but by how well you live. Having time with family, access to nature, and a fair society are valued more than possessions. For billionaires, many of whom never stop chasing more, this is eye-opening. They realize that despite all their wealth, they often lack the kind of peace an ordinary Finnish person enjoys every day. And that's the secret. In Finland, happiness doesn't scream. It whispers. And for those who come searching for it, the quiet is exactly what they need. Nature as a way of life. In Finland, nature isn't something you visit on weekends. It's part of everyday life. With over 75% of the country covered in forest and nearly 188,000 lakes, nature is never far away. Even in Helsinki, the capital, you can step out of an office and be walking in quiet woods within minutes. Finns have a deep cultural bond with the land. Children are taught early to respect the outdoors, spending hours playing in forests or skiing in winter. Families own simple wooden cottages by lakes where summers are spent fishing, swimming, and heating the sauna by hand. These aren't luxury villas. They're often rustic with no running water, just peace and simplicity. For billionaires used to crowded cities and walled-off estates, this closeness to nature feels liberating. Here, they don't need bodyguards or private jets to escape. They can rent, or even buy, a humble lakeside cabin and live like everyone else. And in doing so, they rediscover something wealth often hides: the richness of time, space, and freedom. Nature in Finland isn't only about beauty, it's about health. Studies show that spending time in forests reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and boosts creativity. It's no surprise that companies like Nokia and Rovio, creator of Angry Birds, were born in this environment of calm, focused minds. The culture of trust. One of the first things visitors notice in Finland is how much people trust each other. It shows up in everyday life in ways that surprise outsiders. In Helsinki, you might see a baby stroller left outside a cafe while the parents sit inside drinking coffee, something unthinkable in most countries. Or you might leave your phone on a park bench by mistake, only to find it still there hours later. This isn't luck. It's a culture built on honesty, fairness, and low corruption. Finland consistently ranks among the least corrupt countries in the world, and its citizens genuinely believe that most people can be trusted. In fact, international studies show that over 70% of Finns trust strangers, compared to less than 30% in many other nations. For billionaires, this is extraordinary. In their own countries, they often live behind gates, guarded by security, suspicious of everyone's motives. But in Finland, they find a society where trust is normal and safety is part of daily life. They can walk into a store without bodyguards, ride public transport without stairs, and interact with neighbours as equals. This trust extends to government and institutions too. Taxes are high by global standards, but Finns don't mind because they see the results: excellent schools, healthcare, and infrastructure that benefit everyone. Billionaires quickly notice something rare. People here don't resent the wealthy because wealth doesn't divide society. And that's the real attraction. In Finland, even the richest person can live without fear of envy or betrayal. Privacy is respected. Neighbours don't gossip, strangers don't pry. For billionaires searching for peace of mind, this invisible safety net of trust is worth more than any fortress. Work-life balance the Finnish way. In many parts of the world, success is measured by how busy you are. Long hours, late-night emails, and cancelled vacations are seen as signs of ambition. But in Finland, the culture is the opposite. Work matters, yes, but life outside of work matters more. The average Finnish workweek is around 36 to 37 hours, shorter than in the US or much of Asia. Offices often empty by 4 p.m., not because people are lazy, but because efficiency is valued. The belief is simple: if your work is well organized, you shouldn't need to stay late. Vacations are generous too. Workers typically get 4 to 5 weeks of paid holiday each year, and it's common for entire offices to close during July when families retreat to their summer cottages. Instead of chasing constant productivity, Finns embrace rest as part of success. This balance shows up in everyday life. Parents spend unhurried time with their children. Friends meet for long walks or coffee without rushing. Even CEOs can be spotted cycling to work or picking up groceries without assistants trailing behind them. For billionaires, who often live in high-pressure environments, this way of life is striking. Many of them suffer burnout, exhaustion, and the feeling that no matter how much they achieve, it's never enough. Finland offers a living example of something they rarely see: a society where success doesn't require sacrificing health, family, or peace of mind. The results speak for themselves. Finland not only ranks high in happiness, but also in productivity. By working smarter, not longer, people stay motivated and creative. For billionaires, this is a reminder that wealth is meaningless if you don't have time to enjoy it. In Finland, balance isn't a luxury, it's the norm. Education and simplicity. If you ask Finns what they're most proud of, many won't talk about Nokia or saunas or even ice hockey. They'll point to something far quieter: their education system. For decades, Finland has been ranked among the best in the world, and it's built on principles that are very different from the systems most billionaires know. In Finland, schools don't drown children in homework or endless exams. Young students often have shorter school days and more breaks than their peers in the US, the UK, or Asia. Instead of focusing on competition, the Finnish system emphasizes equality. Every child, regardless of background, has access to the same high-quality education. Teachers are highly respected, carefully trained, and trusted to design lessons without strict government micromanagement. For billionaires, this is eye-opening. Many of them come from countries where elite private schools are seen as the only path to success, where education is a competition for status. In Finland, they see children thriving without that pressure, growing up curious, creative, and confident. It's a reminder that sometimes less stress creates more success. Another surprising fact is how ordinary schools are. There's no obsession with building the fanciest facilities or producing genius factories. Simplicity rules: warm classrooms, supportive teachers, and plenty of outdoor time. Why privacy is Finland's greatest luxury. For billionaires, privacy is often the hardest thing to buy. They can build mansions behind high walls, hire security teams, or fly to private islands, but the spotlight follows them everywhere. In most countries, wealth automatically attracts attention. But in Finland, it's the opposite. Here, privacy is a cultural norm, and it might be the country's greatest luxury of all. Finns have a deep respect for personal space. Neighbours don't pry into your business, and strangers rarely ask personal questions. Even in cities, people prefer to keep a quiet distance rather than crowd each other. It's not coldness, it's respect. This means a billionaire can walk through a market or sit in a cafe without being stared at, photographed, or harassed. The media culture is different too. Paparazzi are almost non-existent, and tabloids don't hunt down celebrities in the same way they do in Hollywood or London. Public figures are often allowed to live like ordinary citizens. This level of freedom is priceless for the wealthy, who are used to every move being analysed. Even politics reflect this attitude. When Finland's leaders step out in public, they're treated more as equals than celebrities. Former President Tarja Halonen was often seen shopping at regular grocery stores without security fanfare. This same environment allows billionaires to blend in seamlessly. And perhaps most importantly, wealth here doesn't draw resentment. People don't measure worth by material possessions. So, while billionaires might be judged in other countries, in Finland, they are just another neighbour. For the world's richest, this is rare, a place where you can be wealthy without being watched. In Finland, privacy isn't bought, it's guaranteed by culture. Lessons from the Finnish lifestyle. By now, it's clear that Finland's attraction for billionaires isn't about luxury or excess. It's about something far more subtle: a lifestyle built on balance, modesty, and values that can't be bought. So, what lessons can we learn from this Finnish way of life? Wealth is not about more things. It's about more peace. In Finland, people don't chase status symbols. They invest in time with family, walks in the forest, or quiet evenings at home. Billionaires who come here realize that peace of mind is worth more than the biggest mansion. Silence is richer than noise. In most societies, the loudest voices dominate. But Finland shows the power of silence, how stepping away from constant noise clears the mind and strengthens focus. Even the richest people in the world crave this kind of calm. Equality creates dignity for everyone. Whether you're a cleaner, a teacher, or a CEO, Finnish culture treats you with the same respect. Billionaires find this refreshing because it frees them from the endless hierarchy of status games. Nature is real wealth. Money can buy beachfront property or private jets, but it can't create a forest that stretches beyond the horizon. Finland's closeness to nature reminds the wealthy and us that health, beauty, and freedom come from the earth, not from possessions. True strength is quiet endurance, sisu. Finland's national spirit, sisu, teaches us that success doesn't always come from speed, noise, or showing off. It comes from staying steady, even when life is difficult. That lesson applies whether you're an ordinary worker or a billionaire. These aren't lessons only for the rich. They're lessons for everyone. And perhaps that's the true secret. Billionaires aren't drawn to Finland because it makes them special. They're drawn because it allows them to be normal again. The secret we can all use. At the end of the day, Finland's magic is not found in skyscrapers, red carpets, or flashing wealth. It's found in the way people live, with trust, equality, silence, and balance. That's why billionaires quietly retreat here. Not to be admired, but to disappear. To walk through a forest without bodyguards. To sit in a sauna where titles don't matter. To live without noise, without show, without constant judgment. And here's the irony. What they come searching for in Finland, the peace, the balance, the contentment, is available to us too. You don't need millions to practice modesty. You don't need billions to take a walk in the woods. You don't need to be famous to value silence or to protect your privacy. The Finnish lifestyle is not really a secret, it's a choice. A choice to live with less noise.